let's move on and talk more about your current job that you have, about your consultancy
Exactly.
firm that you're running. Can you briefly just tell us about what it is that you're working as right now?
Yeah, so I was doing a job and then as a project engineer, our responsibility is to select and to you can say to select the equipments, and then we also do the plant sizing. Then we have to select all the equipments, brands, everything that we are going to utilize in a plant, in a wastewater
Mm-hmm.
treatment plant. So I always want to open my own company and to work on my own with
Mm-hmm.
respect to my engineering, as I have a little bit of experience. So I decided that why not to start working on my own. So as I was thinking from the like you can say from when I was doing a job that I should open my own company and then to give the consultancy services with respect to the I was more interested to into environment, as I have a little bit of experience in the water treatment plants and the wastewater treatment plants. Also, sometimes we got some inquiries with respect to solid waste management. So
Mm-hmm.
I also know about that how this work and how to you can say design a plant and everything like that. So after thinking about like 2 to 3 years, I decided to just to register my company and to start working on my own. And
Mm-hmm.
then I luckily and thanks to Allah that I got an opportunity and I just literally opened it. And
Mm-hmm.
then I did marketing on my own. Like I contacted the multiple industries that like we are the following company and we are giving services
Mm-hmm.
with respect to this, and this, and then
Mm-hmm.
some of the engineers from their industries understand that what we are giving the services, and then sometimes they share us the inquiries, and then we just
Mm-hmm.
simply send them a proposal, and
Mm-hmm.
so then we got some of you can say some of the projects with respect to my own company. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Okay, amazing. So you basically are your own boss right now,
yeah, exactly.
right? Mhm. Yeah, but that is very impressive that you decided to pursue your own path instead of continuing into the
Hmm.
industry. Especially, you are very young in the industry. You graduated what 3 years ago with your master's, and but of course you had a great deal of experience for internships and then
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
you had your industrial jobs. But still,
yeah,
it is still quite impressive that you have chosen and you have been quite successful at it now so far. You have had major clients that you're working with. You have quite a
yeah.
great deal of things to put on your resume, especially the projects that you've been working on.
Hmm.
Could you briefly tell us about some of the few projects that you got a chance to work with?
Yeah, so as my major area was with respect to environment, so
Mm-hmm.
I got a one project that was related to water treatment plant. Like
Mm-hmm.
we have to design and then we have to you can say purchase the things from all over the world. As the capacity was not that much big, it was you can say a very you can say small scale plant. But I was
Mm-hmm.
more interested to go with and start to go with the small scale plants instead of big
Mm-hmm.
mega project. As also it's my learning phase, and also I just don't want to mess with the with our client. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why. And then we also got some of the project with respect to the valve selection. Like there is one industry in Pakistan that they have some issues in their valves. So they,
Mm-hmm.
as I was talking to them and I was just telling about my country, about my company.
Mm-hmm.
So they then asked me to that we have the following issue. If you could help me with this, that we would be very helpful. So it would be very helpful for us. So then I worked on that issue, and then I gave them a new solution with respect to the valves. So
Mm-hmm.
then and now luckily they are using it, and it's not causing any problem to them. Then sometimes we have also we are supplying multiple items to the industry,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes with respect to their requirement and sometimes with respect to our selection, and sometimes we just recommend them that if you are using this and if you will use this, then you could have a price difference and you could have a better performance. And then
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they even call me for an discussion that explain us that how you are saying this, that it could be
Mm-hmm.
more helpful for us if we use your product instead of this product, like
Mm-hmm.
any valve or any pressure
Mm-hmm.
transmitter or any XYZ thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. It sounds like a great deal of responsibility that you're handling right now. Because now you don't just have these tasks, but now you also have your reputation on the line. You are responsible
Exactly,
for basically everything, right? One mistake and your company names goes up and down. So it,
exactly,
so,
exactly.
so it is a great deal of responsibility that you're dealing with. But if I was to ask you, Ed, now since you are, of course, the director of the company and you are handling all the marketing and the client handling and all the solution making, uh, how does your typical workday look like as of right now?
Yeah, so if I talk about my company, then I just simply go to my office as we have one office in Lahore, and I
Mm-hmm,
just simply go to office. Then the first routine is to check the emails. Like as you
mm-hmm,
know that all the communications are through the emails. Then I just
mm-hmm,
simply reply the emails with whatever the email is. And then the second is to make the follow up. Sometimes we have shared the proposal, sometimes the quotations to in the last week, and we
mm-hmm,
I then we do the follow ups like to check either they are working or either we have got that project or we have lost it. And then
mm-hmm,
in after you can say the lunch break we go for the marketing. Like we just
mm-hmm,
simply call the people and then we just introduce our company.
mm-hmm,
And sometimes this is what in you can say after that we work on our projects, the
mm-hmm,
proposals and the quotation making. So if
mm-hmm,
we have to like if we have to submit the quotation or the proposal to our client, then we just start working on it and then submit it. And also some days we have to meet with our different clients. On some days we have to go to different sites visits for you can say for the information or for the calculation. So this is all
mm-hmm,
about. Yeah.
mm-hmm. Great. So if you were to compare your work-life balance that you have right now compared to the work-life
Hmm.
balance that you had before while you were working for someone else, uh,
Hmm.
I would imagine that you have a lot more working hours now and less social time compared to before, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
Mm-hmm,
that's yes, everyone say this, and I think that it is very you can say
mm-hmm,
that when I was working on a job, I don't have that much of responsibility either. I
mm-hmm,
do have, but I was just looking at my responsibility. Whatever my
mm-hmm,
tasks are, I have to perform that all. But if I talk about my current job, then
mm-hmm,
it's not a job. Basically, it's a full-time job. Like I have to, you can
mm-hmm,
say, see all the things like from the
mm-hmm,
technical to the marketing. Although uh, I'm not working directly on something that some other people are working, but then I have to
mm-hmm,
inform them that I want this and our main
mm-hmm,
aim is to get this and yes, it's a very responsibility and also I think that sometimes even if you are sleeping, your mind just thinking about that particular thing that
mm-hmm,
you have to do that thing tomorrow or you have to call
mm-hmm,
him for the following thing. So yeah,
mm-hmm,
it's a little bit of more stressful as
mm-hmm,
compared to doing a job. Yeah,
mm-hmm. Exactly. And I can of course fully imagine that it is a full-time job. I once saw this
exactly.
joke on Facebook of that I did not want to work from 9 to 5. So I started my business. Now I work 24/7.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
uh,
And
but
also, and I want to add something, and I think also in Start, like in Start, you have to work for like 24/7.
Mhm. Exactly, of course. Because
Yeah,
when you're trying to launch something, especially in the very beginning,
yeah,
those are the
yeah,
days and
exactly.
the hours that are very, very critical. What tips
Hmm.
would you tell people or to other incoming graduates who really share that same passion for entrepreneurship? What should they do? What should they focus on? Or what are the key skills they should be learning already when they are graduating?
Yeah, so I think that the first thing is that first just mark your the major area like what you want to do. Either you want to open up as you know that it's a very big investment if we want to
Mhm,
open up, if we want
mhm,
to do any manufacturing or the production and I think that many young graduates cannot go for it. So the
mhm,
easiest and which you have a lowest investment is the consultancy and it's also related to our field
mhm,
and if you have a little bit knowledge of chemical engineering and if you think that you have the possibility that you could discuss with all over the world. Like I work with some of my international clients. Not I'm not working with them, but you can say that they are our principal. That they if we get in any trouble or any difficulty, they just simply I just send them an email and then they totally help us. That if you
mhm,
are using this, then you try this or try this, and then sometimes they are more interested. They even ask us to that we can send our team to Pakistan if you are in
Mm-hmm.
trouble. So I think that first thing is that you should know your area, that
Mm-hmm.
what's the major area which you are going to work, that either if it's a consultancy or if it's a, you can say, the supply of any engineering equipment or any production plant, let's suppose on a
Mm-hmm.
small scale. Then the second thing is that then you should have a good knowledge what you are offering. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you are working on the product, then you should know, and you have the ability to convince other people
Mm-hmm.
with respect to your product. Like if you cannot convince them, then and I think then they are not going to buy
Mm-hmm.
anything from you. But you should have a good convincing power. Then and then the third thing is that the your product should be a little bit, you can say, differentiating with the other products that are already in the market. So
Mm-hmm.
if you have the following thing, then I think that you could easily make your place in
Mm-hmm.
country. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, amazing. This is just the beginning for you, I guess. And you have just started off with your company. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, the next 10 years? What is the future of your firm as you see it?
No, as I've started Linklikes. It's been more than a year now,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a very good response in the
Mm-hmm.
start. Like as I don't have that much project, but still
Mm-hmm.
I am successful in getting some. So I
Mm-hmm.
am hoping that I will be, you can say, it will be a big farm, or and I have a lot of my big team in the past,
Mm-hmm.
I think in the next 5 or 10 years, and I
Mm-hmm.
would have, you can say, a big footprint in all over industries in Pakistan, as
Mm-hmm.
I literally try to talk with in everyone who is working in industry, and I just simply share the profile of my company, and I introduce my company. So there are there are many people
Mm-hmm.
who find it interesting that I'm working at this age,
Mm-hmm.
and then sometimes they give me a chance to
Mm-hmm.
participate in their whatever their task is. Yeah.
Amazing. But thank you so very much, Yasir, for sharing all these insights about your own consulting.
Thank you for listening. And if you have not done so already, remember to become a free member at Chemical Engineering Life. And do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And stay tuned for more upcoming podcasts with chemical engineers. Thank you and have a great day.